we built the cube for Burning Man in 2009, and it's not unusual for people to build large versions of common household objects for Burning Man. Part of the experience is also that people go and play with the art. So unlike in an art gallery, we're expected to look at stuff only. There, you're encouraged, in fact, to mess with the art and to play with it. And so a lot of the art objects are highly interactive, either physically or electronically or in some way. It was pretty clear when we had the idea to build a giant Rubik's Cube. When we thought about how to play it, we got into this problem that it would really be only one person who could have the experience. And so how is that really interesting to the majority of people? Well, the majority of people will be looking on. And so we thought about having someone inside the cube originally. So the cube, someone would be sitting in the cube solving it from the inside, and of course then nobody could actually see what's going on. All they would see is a cube that is moving. When we said, okay, let's take the person outside the cube, I suddenly thought, well, maybe if we give each person only one axis, then suddenly you need 3 people, and then the 3 people sort of naturally place themselves around the cube, and the symmetry actually works out really nicely. And it sort of all fell into place. And it turns this into a kind of a spectacle, because now you get to see a little bit of what only goes on in your head typically when you're making decisions about what move to do next. Because you're splitting in 3 people, you're forcing that communication out of your brain into the open air.
So it actually started at a ski trip to Whistler. Somebody brought up a series of cubes and people were starting to play with them. And playing with it one night is like, you know what would make this object much more fun is if it was lit up like the sun and gigantic and out in the middle of the desert. This is the core structure, and this is custom machined aluminum, and it's set up so that the outer structure is going to exactly match what you want for the cube. If you come around behind, you can actually see, so these guys are reflectors. So if you just put a bright light behind that fabric, you'd end up with this one really bright spot, and then the rest of it would be kind of dim. So instead what we've done is we've mounted the lights backwards, so they're actually shooting into this mylar sheath, which is serving as a reflector, so that you get light bouncing around. You get this nice matte reflection all the way out. And these are actually reclaimed cardboard. This came from dumpsters at some point in the past because we were funding the projects ourselves. And then there's mylar on the inside of it. So you can see this is a corner cubie, so there's one of them in each direction. And you can see how the electronics are routed in. So all of these guys will have electronics which are routed back to a center square, and we'll have little boxes which are mounted. Each of those boxes will drive 5 of these faces, so there will be 11 of those boxes to get the 54 faces. And those take power from 2 power supplies, so there's some redundancy. They take a signal from a microcontroller, and then there's a custom built circuit board which marries those 2 to actually drive the LEDs at full voltage with the signal from the microcontroller. You'll notice that there are a lot of there's a lot of structure in terms of trucker straps and stuff. So right now it looks like these are diagonal. When the cube is lifted, it's actually balanced on one of these points, and so these go from being diagonal to actually being vertical and horizontal. And they provide a little bit of tension for the structure, but mostly what they are is a climbing gym. So when the system is actually up, if you need to get in to do maintenance, there's a door. So that cubie over there is going to be a door where the whole piece will actually rotate out and somebody can climb inside.
I'm not actually that big into Rubik's Cubes. I didn't really play with them much as a kid, and I ended up learning how to solve them while I was doing this project. But if you gave me one now, I don't think I could do it. I just like building stuff. You know, I like building art and building interesting objects for people to play with.